this is going to be a sick matchup to watch. We saw Ultra had a pretty decent game against Terror. I think he definitely, like you were pointing out as well earlier, Nayokan, he definitely had chances to win there. So his TVT is looking strong, but I know for a fact vOddy himself also has really strong TVT. So this is going to be an amazing matchup.
Yeah, and even though Ultra did fall versus Terror, it sounds like not a big thing, but building SCVs is actually a really big thing in TVT. They can soak up so much damage. Econ is his econ was ahead of Terror the entire game, despite losing so many SCVs. So I think Ultra has a really good chance versus vOddy, but also vOddy plays a completely different style than Terror. vOddy's not just gonna like tank vulture move out versus you. He's going to do like vulture drop in your main. He's going to do Goliath drop in your main. He's going to do like wraith harassment. It's going to be completely different. So we'll see how Ultra can stand up against somebody that's ultra harassment based. But so far, even though he fell, he looked pretty good. And what do you think in this match? Do you think there's anybody favored? Is it going to be vOddy making a run in BSL 11 like he did in BSL 10, or is it going to be Ultra getting into the round of 16? Like he always does.
Well, Nayokan, I'm trying to get into the groove of being kind of a nice, objective, impartial caster.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm just trying to present these players in the best light possible. Just trying to be very positive, and we can talk about, you know, they're all great players. And then you put me on the spot. What do you think about these two players? Now, I mean, I've played both of these players on ladder, but like quite a lot of times. And in my opinion, I think I'll say I would, if I were a betting man, I would bet on vOddy this game. So I'll leave it at that.
Sounds like we need to make a prediction vote in the chat right now and put all of your BSL points into that. Put your money where your mouth is and see if you can.
I'm a mod though. I can't bet.
Oh yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So Ripperino for you. That's
I would.
Unfortunate. That's the unfortunate thing about being a mod in all these channels. It's like when I'm in Artosis's game and I see like a 1500 Protoss, I'm like, I'm all in on the Protoss, but I can't vote, man. I can't vote.
Yeah, well, the game is going to be on Polypoid. It is going to be a best of one, guys. Of course, we get this map preview here, but everyone knows what Polypoid is. It means the game is ready, so let's get right into it.
In the bottom right, our South American Terran representing Chile. It is Ultra.
And in the top left, in the white, the Swedish god, vOddy.
Yeah, so Polypoid.
Yeah.
I think this is my favorite map in all of the maps so far in ladder. Even more than Eclipse. You know, Eclipse is very popular, but Polypoid, I like this quite a bit. Now, we've got these spawns. Is there, like, it's cross spawn. TVT, like, sure, vultures are the go-to, right? But if you're cross spawn, does that affect your build at all? Are you going to see more wraith play, tank play? What are your thoughts on these positions, or does it even matter?
Yeah, who knows? I don't think it matters, Nayokan. In my experience, guys, you know, we're on the Zoom. You know, we're doing this broadcast through Zoom, right? So like, you guys only see the screen here, the actual game, but I get to see Nayokan's lovely face. And every time I say something, I see a nice little smirk on his face, or like when he even asks me, he like smirks. And it's really clowny. Anyway, cross spawns on Polypoid. Oh, here's the other thing, Nayokan. You know what I realized is that, you know, because who are the other big brood casters? Of course, the one and only Tastosis. And you go listen to them, and they have great banter. And then I think to myself, wow, I wish we were that funny, Nye. I mean, maybe I think I'm weighing us down. I think I'm wearing us down. But then I realized, like, what do we talk about? And we just talk about the game. Like, all the time. Because we're just huge nerds and we love this game. So, you know what? you're gonna ask me what's the difference between cross spawn versus horizontal versus vertical spawn on TVT, and I'm sure you have your own thoughts on it. We can talk about that. Now, cross spawns, in my opinion, it tends to go pretty late, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
really hard to like end the game cross spawns, and I feel like going up to like 4 bases, like if you do something like maybe 3 factory and expanding really quick, I think that's pretty strong.
well, on a map like Polypoid, if you're not getting 4 bases, I don't know how you're playing this map because it's just so free. It's just so free to get 4 bases. So I think, as you stated, this is probably going to be a long, very long game, unless someone gets some sick harassment off. But because of how well Ultra was building SCVs, I don't think that's going to be the case. Now, you're talking about banter. You know, I heard from someone
Yeah.
that they had questions for me this season, but
Yeah.
I feel like maybe bringing this up was a bit of a mistake because, you know, chat might explode. You know, I already lost so many followers saying Lord of the Rings and Star Trek is not my ideal TV and movie.
Yeah, I can't. You know, you're already triggering me, and I had a huge, dude. I had like a whatever a catalog of questions to ask you, and then I woke up this morning, and I was like, "Damn, what were those questions I had for Nyokin?" And I just forgot. And then I realized, wow, I'm a really boring person. You know, like sometimes you talk to some of those people, like some people who just like they'll out of the blue ask you some weird question, but it's like kind of like a fun question. And you're like, how on earth did they think about asking that? Like, I just can't do it, man. I don't know.
Yeah, Artosis and Tasteless, as you said, have some of the best banter. Like some of the things they said, I'm like, what, man? Like that just came out of nowhere.
I know, dude. It's just amazing. I'm actually quite jealous. One day.
Yeah, one day we'll get that good. But something that's not coming out of nowhere is those 3 factories that all it's going to be Vulture Man. I mean, it's TVT, man. Like it's Vulture Man every single time. I try when I stream. I try so hard, chat, to not be Vulture Man. I go tank Vulture, tank Wraith, you know, and then I die to mass vultures. Yesterday I played Sorry on the ladder. You know what happened?
Another name drop. Let's hear it.
Yeah, he built 12 vultures, and I was like, yeah, but I got 2 tanks. Yeah, well, apparently DPS of 12 vultures is a bit higher than 2 tanks. I just died.
Yeah.
Just to straight up Ultra Man. So that's what we're going to see from Ultra. I got to point out that this apparently is, I'm guessing, a live game or not a replay, or maybe it is.
No, it is
because
a replay.
I don't see the upgrades at the top left. So I don't know if this is speed or mines.
No, it's a replay, Anakin.
Okay, well, regardless, we don't have this. Okay, there we go. There's the display at top left. I was wondering whether it's speed or mines, but we have the answer. It is going to be mines.
Yeah, it is going to be mines. And this is a really good opening here from Ultra. Again, this 3 factory build is good against what vOddy is doing. Actually, what vOddy is doing is quite interesting. I don't know if he has an armory. He actually just went 2 factory vulture. And, you know, to be completely honest with you, you can just do 3 factories instead. Oh no, he does have tanks. Never mind. So this was a tank vulture push. Very stable way to play. On cross spawns, he just got over onto Ultra's high ground for free, but Ultra actually went 3 factories with tanks, which you don't see quite often. So very interesting situation in general here that personally I have not seen too much. This is going to be nice though for vOddy because getting this forward position means he can get those mines out, but Ultra getting so many vultures into vOddy's natural. vOddy does have a bunker in his natural. If we can go check there real quick, the tank comes out in time to block the ramp, but that is a lot of damage. You can see the worker count there dwindling for vOddy, and you know they're both basically on the same amount of command center, so there's no way for vOddy to make up that discrepancy until later. And now Ultra is pushing out the siege tanks from vOddy due to Fen.
Yeah, but because Ultra recognized that he was getting contained very quickly, he instantly built the starport. So Wraith is going to be coming out. That was a very smart move to instantly put that up. And because Siege and Mines are is Ultra going to pull SCVs? I'm surprised he would do that, especially with his Wraith already coming. I think that would be a huge mistake to go for that. Just let the Wraith push it back. Now, we pointed out last time on the Eclipse game that the Academy, well, we were saying that we thought the Academy might be a little bit late, but instead he put it down as soon as you said that. Now, in vOddy's base, he does have the Academy, but I haven't seen it start for Ultra just yet. And here come, okay, yeah, he is just going to sit here. I think he definitely needs to not waste these units. Otherwise, it's a complete waste of time to go for the Wraith. Now, a little bit of a difference here is no netcast for Ultra, and that is either intentional or a mistake. And I think it's a mistake, and that's just going to limit how many tanks he actually can build.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see here. I mean, vOddy still has that nice position outside of Ultra's base, but does decide to pull back. Oh, the Wraith does come out in time here before there are any Goliaths to reinforce vOddy's position. But yeah, this is exactly where I feel like the game really slows down, especially on this map in this matchup. It's just so hard to press on, and I think it's so much easier to just defend your side of the map. So I'm really curious to see when the command... But these vultures are going to do so much damage. That's so many vultures, and he's not even laying down mines. He's just man-fighting these tanks, and that's like a huge pickoff, actually, for Ultra. He does get 3 tanks there for a couple of vultures. Definitely, you always want to take that trade. And now, vOddy, he is on 4 factories, though, so a healthy factory count is getting that 5th factory with the starport, but you can see Ultra on his side of the map still only on 3 factories, but he is going add-ons on all of them, and he does have a starport, so it looks like he might transition into some kind of tank wraith play that we saw on in the game versus Terror. And I do like this from Ultra, because it just signals that he is going to expand, and you can see he's actually double expanding. He has 6 o'clock building, he has that command center at his main building, and this is going to put a lot of pressure onto vOddy to do something about it, whether it's expanding himself or trying to push. But on Polypoid, because you have that huge high ground at your mineral only, it does make the defending player have a really solid position. So it's going to be much easier for Ultra to defend this. And because he's going for these really early triple add-ons, he's going to have the tank count to basically just siege up all the important positions and kind of hold on to his 4 bases and then explode into a massive amount of factories. So vOddy definitely... And the thing is, vOddy, despite the fact that he has 4 factories and now a 5th factory as well, he doesn't actually have a supply lead here. So I think Ultra's early aggression with the vultures actually is paying dividends here. You can see he still has the worker lead. So honestly, this is looking really good for Ultra.
Well, we do have 5 factories for vOddy, so he can pump out a ton more units. And one of the downsides of taking this many bases this fast is you flat out can't be everywhere. And I'm thinking back to the Eclipse game, is that even though Ultra had so much econ, how many factories did he have? He had 4, right?
Yeah.
And you flat out just can't build that much stuff off of 4 factories and also defend, 4 bases this fast. So if vOddy was to recognize this bottom base only had 2 tanks, I think he instantly goes and kills it. But for now, he hasn't scanned. He hasn't even suspected that it was taken, and that Valkyrie came in 1 second too late to see the vultures or the SCVs get transferred to bottom middle. I think for sure if he knew about bottom middle, he would go and kill it. So instead, this base is just going to be up and running for free. Now he sees the SCVs, but does he actually notice it with the Valkyrie?
Yeah, it's so weird. This is such a vOddy thing here, making these 2 Valkyries. And to be honest with you, I mean, those Valkyries are really expensive units. They're like 300 minerals almost, 275. That's like almost a command center. I mean, I know I'm rounding up really high, but that's basically a command center. So every Valkyrie you see is a flying command center. And that's going to delay vOddy's expansions. And like, he does get his 3rd base up, but Ultra's already on 4 bases and he's already mining up. And like you said, Nyokin, generally when you expand really fast in this matchup, it does kind of thin you out and you have a lot of areas to defend. But Polypoid specifically, it's just so easy to defend. Like the high ground here defends this whole front base, and then it's hard to kind of commit a lot of units to attack this 6 o'clock base if you're in vOddy's position, because they kind of have to go into that kind of funnel into that 6 o'clock base. It's just so easy to defend. It's just so easy to defend in general on Polypoid and TVT. So definitely Ultra in a sick position just from his expansion timings. But we'll have to see if he can macro well enough to make it matter. He has to add his factories on time. He has to just keep making units, and then he has to know where to attack to convert that lead.
Well, I actually think Ultra's in trouble. And the reason for that is because, yeah, he has 4 bases. That's fine. But look at the supply. It's even for both players. And there's not like a factory flood from Ultra. He may have like 6 now, but the positioning is way in favor of vOddy. He's got the left side secured. He's got top side secured. I'd actually like to see him move the tanks a little far forward because I don't want to see Ultra get mid-right. That would be 5 bases for him. But right now, there's no way that Ultra can, I think, bust through. I think if he goes right now, maybe he can bust that left side because vOddy has a huge army trying to reinforce right now that's not here, and maybe Ultra can get through in time.
Oh, he's going, but he needs to siege up these tanks. You can't just walk up unsieged like this. It's gonna work though. I mean, Ultra does have a lot of units. He does have a lot of units, but now vOddy repositioning the northern side there into this fight, and he does have more tanks. He is gonna pick off a lot of these units, and only now does Ultra siege up, and I feel like that was a bit of a wasted opportunity, or a missed opportunity rather. I think if Ultra just instantly sieged up his tanks, all of vOddy's tanks would have evaporated, but instead he took a very poor trade, and now vOddy is ahead in supply, does have more units. Of course, a lot of that supply is in these Valkyries. Valkyries are 3 supply, so this is 9 supply represented by these Valkyries, which really don't do anything other than kill rates, which Ultra isn't really making. So, you know, for these Valkyries to really kind of come into play, I feel like vOddy needs to start making his own rates and kind of abuse the air control that he has. But, you know, Ultra already has Goliath, so really kind of 9 supply there. That's a bit irrelevant. But vOddy reinforcing his position, and he does have a stranglehold here onto Ultra. We'll have to see if Ultra can find... I mean, Ultra is going to push out on this northern side.
Yep, he had to do this. This was the one moment where the top side of the map was not defended, and now Ultra is going to be able to get control of the right side. And now vOddy's in a completely different position because with access to mid-right, potentially top right, now Ultra can start splitting the map. And I noticed that Ultra has started +2 weapon, a massive upgrade in PvT, and that's a fourth Valkyrie that came out just now for vOddy. So that's what, 12 supply in the air. Okay, tanks on the high ground, nicely done from vOddy. He knows that he cannot let Ultra just freely take top right. If there was defensive matrix here, he might be able to kill everything, but instead he's gonna push through, and now this top middle base is very exposed because all of vOddy's units are across the map.
This is so crazy, man. Like, what's going on? vOddy is basically out macroing Ultra despite being down a base. He just permanently has more supply. He's not, like, it's so weird. I mean, if Ultra does get out onto the map, he is going to lose all of these units though, which is pretty bad. But if Ultra somehow gets some way gets some map control back, he is going to be in a good spot because, again, he has been mining from that 4th base for a long time. Means he can start putting down 5th and 6th command centers. I mean, you can see he has 1 command center queued. He does have a lot of add-ons there, 4 add-ons, a lot of more factories. So, oh my god, but he does catch a lot of these units from vOddy unsieged, but it's kind of a that was a huge explosion, but still vOddy's gonna have a nice trade here. Kind of a paltry force from Ultra. Does get good trades, but yeah, it's looking... I mean, Ultra did push out of his base. He's no longer contained. He has access to the top right side of the map, but he has to... Oh, he's actually taking top, bottom, left. That's interesting. What do you think about that?
Well, he's just expanding everywhere. He's just trying to make it chaotic. Just get one side of the map because I think he realizes that he's down in units. So he needs to just try and get one of the bases up. It looks like he's trying to really secure top right. And these vultures going to come in. I don't think they're going to have that good of a success, but maybe they are because there's really not that much support for the tanks. Goliaths and vultures are trying to burst down these mines. It looks like they will clear the majority of them. And now Ultra is up 20 supply. I think a minute ago it was, oh, look at this. That's not something you see every day. Vulture denies the landing of the command center, and these 4 Valkyries are going to pay for one of them, apparently. He's going to take down one of the command centers here.
Yeah, you ever see a command center just fly into another command center and explode it? out of the air. I feel like that's what I'm looking at, but yeah, I mean, vOddy still a couple of units getting picked off. Now is where the game is starting to look a bit risky for vOddy, despite the fact that I feel like vOddy was playing really well. This is why taking expansions in this matchup is so important, because sure, you could have a really good position at one point in the game, and vOddy has had the superior position on the map for the entire game, but as the game gets longer, as you start grinding out and trading armies, this extra income that Ultra has been hoarding this whole time is finally coming into play, and you can see that he's basically just has more units, and all of a sudden Ultra is actually ahead in supply. And again, that's 4 Valkyries. Okay, that's 12 supply there. So vOddy really doesn't have that much of a presence out on the map anymore. A lot of the white that you see on the mini-map are mines. He does have vultures, but at this point, I mean, we saw in Ultra's base, he does have 4 add-ons, possibly even a 5th add-on at this point. So vulture is kind of becoming increasingly less effective as the game goes on, especially as tank count increases. They are going to find a couple of SCVs here at the mid-right base, but nothing too scary for Ultra. He is going to be able to deal with this. Nice mine there onto the tank, but yeah, I mean, vOddy is in not so good of a position.
Yeah, I think there's a real chance Ultra just ends this game right now, because not only does he have a 60 supply lead, he also has +2 weapon done. That's +3 for him. That is not +2. So there's a massive breakpoint advantage for him. +2 is about to finish for vOddy. But if Ultra was to go right now, he just has so much stuff. Also, those Valkyries don't help him at all. And he could really just end this game. I think if he swoops around to the side and goes for the mineral only, game ends. But of course, we have complete vision. There's no defense at the mineral only right now. It would just be an instant win for him. He could push, or he doesn't even have to push. He can just cut off, access to the center of the map from there. And it looks like Ultra recognizes that, because he's swooping around to the left side, and there's no response from vOddy.
Yeah, I mean, Ultra just has so many units. He's maxed. vOddy again, 150 supply, more like 140, 130, and yeah, it's just kind of the economic advantage that Ultra has is insurmountable. Like vOddy, even if he plays out of his mind, he just physically has, like, he just has fewer things, so it's so hard to overcome that disadvantage. And Ultra getting some vultures out onto this mid-left base. vOddy's going to clean up these tanks at his mineral only, so he's going to be able to land that command center and start mining from it. But look at the mini-map now. You can, so much red just littering the right side of the map. Ultra essentially taking his side of the map, and he's gonna be up on basically 6-7 bases. Such an insurmountable lead at this point.
Yeah, and the SCV count for vOddy, it's not bad. 60 is okay, but TVT, you really just want a ton of SCVs, and Ultra sitting at 75. He just has insane econ. He's got a 2k, 1k bank. He has 9 factories. He's just permanently maxed. He's gonna go for another follow-up, and vOddy's doing a really good job to focus down the tanks, and he may be able to clean up this army, or well, maybe he's not, but he did trade about as well as he possibly could. But look at the money for vOddy. He just doesn't have the econ anymore. He does have 3 bases up and running with the mineral only top, middle, and mid left, but he's got to get a consolidated army, and it just feels like Ultra's constantly attacking him. Now there's a hole at mid left. There's no defense there. If Ultra was to scan and see that, he could easily kill that base.
Yeah, I mean, again, like vOddy is basically broke. Ultra still has a bank, has so much to work with. I mean, if vOddy somehow comes back this game, it's probably going to be the comeback of the tournament, honestly. I mean, even just day one, we're going to think back to this game like, holy cow, how did he do it? But it's looking that dire here for vOddy. I mean, he does still have units. He can still fight it out. He's going to try and get this position on the high ground. High ground is going to help him, but just look how many red Terran units there are compared to the white Terran units. And Ultra sieging on the low ground doesn't really matter. He has so many tanks, so many Goliaths, so many vultures just pushing through here. And this is going to essentially deny bottom left from vOddy. And without bottom left, where does he expand to?
Yeah, he's just running out of bases to take. And that was a very crucial moment right there for Ultra to deny that setup, because if that got set up, then all of a sudden this could potentially go into a split map scenario, and that's not what Ultra wants when he has such an amazing econ advantage. He's got all of the right side set up. He's on 7 bases. Now he's got tanks at the left side, so vOddy can't take any of these bases. The only base he could potentially take, maybe, is the mineral only, but even that can get sieged from the high ground. So instead, vOddy, I don't know what he can do. It looks like he's trying to set up contain himself, but he can't push anywhere. There's just too much too much units for Ultra everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, here's a really nice opportunity for vOddy. If Ultra had pushed into those tanks, it wouldn't have been the best trade, but Ultra wisely does not force the issue. He can just run around the map, scan. I mean, when you have this many command centers, you basically have permanent map hacks. You can find the weakness and kind of just push through it. And it looks like Ultra did find a hole in vOddy's defenses here. Again, vOddy does have a couple tanks to the 12 o'clock. He does have a couple tanks bottom left trying to secure that, but no tanks left over at his mineral only. So it looks like Ultra's going to be able to deny this base once again. He is sieging up in range with the command center, clearing out vOddy's forces. vOddy's going to have to reposition a couple of his tanks, but this command center is going to go down, and when this command center goes down, vOddy suddenly is only on 2 base. Meanwhile, Ultra still mining off of his 80 SCV economy. He is going to have a bank for years and years to come, and yeah, I mean, it's only a matter of time now, I feel like, until vOddy comes to grip with this game. There's really almost nothing he can do, and yeah, he GG's out. Surprising result, Nyokin.
He taps out, and Ultra's macro was just ridiculous. And as I said, in the Terra game, the SCV count was consistently just ridiculously high, and you can see what happens when you have such a high SCV count. And of course, when you get on 4 bases that fast, is you just have massive econ. He was almost permanently maxed after that big fight in the middle. I was very worried after the first fight because vOddy killed all those tanks that were not sieged. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is just going to be a contain that can never get busted. But then I guess Ultra just turned it on, and he just busted through the top, busted through the left side, and there's just flat out too much stuff from Ultra. So congratulations to him. He's going to make it into the losers match. And unfortunately, somebody that I really liked in DSL 10 he's just gone. 2 games just like that, he's out of there.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, really quick about that game, is that, because it really looked like vOddy was just kind of on top of everything, and suddenly he lost. And really, it comes down to that extra command center that Ultra had. I mean, he was mining off that 4th base the entire time, and vOddy never took his 4th base. And sometimes that doesn't translate directly into supply leads like that, like immediately, because really, off of 3 base, Terran you can't really scale your production much more than 3 base, right? Like once you're on 3 base, you can afford kind of the maximum amount of factories that you would build in a game for the most part. Like you don't add a ton more factories once you're on 4 base. But that 4th base allows you to kind of bank up more minerals so that you can start taking your 5th, 6th, and 7th bases. Whereas the Terran that's on 3 bases, they're still kind of committed all the resources into making units. And so as the game prolongs, mineral patches mine out, and the 3 basing player just kind of runs out of steam. And that's exactly what happened that game, whereas Ultra could just expand and keep making units. And even though vOddy was playing really well, he just couldn't keep up with the late game grind. So really sick result there, actually. Ultra, I thought I really didn't think he would be favored against vOddy, but he does pull out a sick macro win there. So that's going to be really good for his confidence, and he's going to need it.